Alright, let's do this. Actually, before I do anything else, I want to split everybody up.
Okay.
Pathfinder with the experienced dwarves, because that's the group that's least likely to die. Alright. And then 2 groups of 3 and 2 groups of 2.
Move here, move there. Mic up, young.
And I'm going to just kind of... Yeah, this time we're, as you can see from this group that just went past us, this time we're going to be dealing with large groups of patrolling ghouls. But once again, we want to keep our dwarves somewhat separate from each other so that they don't go off by accident. Alright.
Okay. Move here, move there.
Okay. Alright. Carefully. Just keep moving everybody forward. Yeah, apparently the ghouls just do not have any peripheral vision. Despite the fact that their eyes appear to be on the side of their heads, they have no peripheral vision. Well, it's convenient. Let's just go with that. Okay, we don't need to trigger those guys, I think. I think we can just avoid fighting them.
Move here, move there. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just setting up this nice kill zone here. Alright.
Mic up, young.
Put these guys into position. And after setting up my lovely kill zone, the enemy decides to be impolite and come from the opposite direction. Alright, got a quick reposition, everyone. Crap, need to do this quickly. Alright.
Okay.
Need to make sure they don't all fire at once.
Catch.
Right, that one. And that, aside from that flurry of grenades right at the end, is how those are supposed to go. Where we just they start charging us, and then there's just this constant rain of death on them until they finally all die.
Yes.
Alright. Also, just like the previous level, no individual dwarf in this mission needs to survive, not even the Pathfinder. We need a certain number of guys in order to have enough satchel charges to take out the target at the end, but no specific individual is special enough that we need to make sure they survive. We also will never get the Pathfinder again. Alright, once again, I'm not really set up properly. Okay. Yeah, I was holding my breath there. Alright. That's twice now that I have misjudged where the enemy's going to come from. So, maybe I shouldn't be in charge. Who am I kidding? I'm the only one who is willing to do this mission. What can I say? I needed the money. And it wasn't, and I'm not actually getting any, so I don't think that works as an excuse. Why am I here? What am I doing here? Alright. Now I want to get a little closer. I'm setting it up to ambush the ghouls that will inevitably come out of that hole once we get close to it. Alright. Okay, get into position. And no matter what, let's wait a moment, just in case. I'm not 100% sure ghouls will come out of there. So I'm gonna send this guy across it on the off chance that he will trigger it to happen. All right.
Yes, sir.
Anybody coming? Come on, we're tasty. Come on, come on, come on, goals. You know you want to. You know you want to. Here, I'll just taunt. Yeah, dwarf. Yeah, every unit type has a taunt move that they can do, which does that. Okay, I guess nobody's coming. Anyway,
Yes.
one interesting thing is you can see terrain outside of your unit's sight range, but you can't see enemies outside of their sight range. But terrain includes movable objects. So I see all these pus packets here and know there be goals here, and they're planning on ambushing me. Well, since I know that, and I have a ton of satchel charges, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
What? Okay.
Huh, that's climbable. Surprising.
Move here, move there.
You know, it also isn't a bad defensive position. Seeing as... Let's try that. Seeing as the enemy would have to climb up this fairly narrow area in order to get to me, I'm actually going to set up a defense on that. And I didn't realize this was climbable. But that's perfect.
Yes, sir. Yes.
It's a bit of multitasking to get everything placed.
Okay.
In fact, let's just move everyone onto the plateau now.
Yeah. Yes.
Except for this guy who's picking up all the satchel charges that I had him put in the wrong place. Also, yes, satchel charges can fall after a dwarf sets them to settle into a place where they... Because they're still subject to the physics engine after you place them.
Yes, sir.
Oh, didn't give him time to pick it up. Alright.
Yes.
Okay. I do need to save some of them to actually destroy the thingy at the end of this level.
Okay.
But I have quite a few.
Move here, move there.
Alright.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
And that's probably quite a bit more than we'll need.
Yes.
Okay.
Move here, move there.
Now, who do I not really care about surviving?
What now?
You're part of a tie for least experienced, so you go.
Make up your mind.
Alright, now I'm going to take my lovely, brave, heroic, expendable dwarf and use him to trigger the ambush. And then the goals will try to run up here into my lovely, lovely trap, followed by just a whole bunch of regular firepower. And these dwarves' job is to stand still and not attack anything. Because if they attack, they will almost certainly hit their allies. Okay. Oh.
Move here, move there. Yes. Okay.
They seem somewhat reluctant to run into my trap. Well, that's easy. That's actually an easy behavior to exploit.
Yes, sir.
The one plus packet that would have hit me was a dud. And now they turn around and go back. The entire trap may turn out to be unnecessary. If I can just keep luring them back and forth, eventually they'll just all die, and then I won't even need the trap. Gotta love just how stupid goals can be.
Casualty.
That was less than successful. Fortunately, we have another one, so let's just try that again.
What?
Alright. Oh, that's our first casualty for this mission.
Catch.
Fortunately, the strategy appears to be working to the point where the trap seems to be completely unnecessary.
Yes, sir.
And as you can tell, I'm not that great at ambushes in general. Alright. And this goal's AI appears to have broken.
Casualty.
And at this point, the Pathfinder can just finish him. I can leave this trap behind. I don't actually need it.
Move it.
I set up this careful, meticulously put together trap, and it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Some days this is just the weirdest job.
What now?
But since we're down to just 4 of them, the Pathfinder can pretty much handle them on his own. That one. Ah, crap! Perhaps he can't.
Get out of the way. Make it clear.
Casualty.
Well,
Well, we just gave the Pathfinder a Viking funeral. Oops. Well, we still have the regular dwarves. We can make this work. I think. Well, let's find out. I'm gonna miss you, whatever your name was. Well, you're in a better place now. A little bit there, a little bit over there, and a little bit. I'm actually not sure what is goal and what is dwarf anymore. Anyway, let's get everybody back into order. Yeah, a 3 and 2 2s is good. That gives me a decent amount of control over each group.
Okay.
Okay. Let's keep moving, everybody. Something like this was talked about in the Art of War, actually. The groups of 3 to 5 are easy to control individually. And so the idea is you organize your soldiers into squads, which are organized into, like, platoons, which are organized into battalions, and then you treat each group as though it is a single individual. So, like, you kind of operate... So, say you have 3 to 5 battalions, and the person in charge of commanding the battalions thinks of them as if they were individual people. And then each battalion has, like, 3 to 5 platoons, which are commanded the same way. That's actually kind of what I do in Myth, where I split my units off into groups, and then operate the group as if it's one single entity. It's just that it's usually like all the dwarves, all the archers, or all the melee, rather than separating units of the same type into multiple groups.
Yes,
Alright.
sir.
another ambush coming up. Though we saw how little the satchel charges accomplished, so we're going to go with a slightly different strategy this time.
Move here. Move.
The larger group should really be in the center. Alright. It would be lovely if we could set off some of those pus packets while the ghouls are standing on them, but it's unlikely that we'll manage it.
down already.
Yeah. Make way incoming.
Casualty.
Yes.
We put him out of his misery. Yeah, let's go with that. Now I just need to put these soulless out of my misery. Also, I believe this was in an outtake video, but the soulless death sound always sounds like someone is saying something, but I could never figure out what it sounded like they were saying. Apparently we lost oh right, we lost the entire rightmost wing of our guys. That's unfortunate. But we are near the end. If this were a normal playthrough, I would save right now, because this would usually require multiple tries, but, well... Yes, the chorus of goals are goals that we're actually going to have to fight. Oh, reinforcements, that'll help. I mean, we still don't have very many guys, but the reinforcements will at least make things a little easier. Alright. Yep, I did manage to grab everybody. The penultimate challenge is the soulless, which I'm going to take out like this.
Make up your mind.
It's quite a few soulless.
Yes. Yes, sir. Move here, move there. Okay. Yeah.
Casualty.
That was unsuccessful. That was thoroughly unsuccessful. Though I may be able to avoid fighting them. Alright. So let's take these guys and set up another trap. The traps have somewhat of a mixed record when it comes to actually defeating the enemy, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm also going to have him run over and grab these satchel charges.
What now?
Alright. Because we're going to need... I'm going to save the satchel charges in the pile to be used to destroy the Godhead, which requires several of them. And I'm going to use pretty much all of the satchel charges that we have other than that in one very large satchel trap. And in particular, I want it to be a very long satchel trap. It shouldn't be very wide because of the way the goal formation works. But it needs to be long.
What now?
So, you see this length, so a lot of units can be running along it, and then I can blow it all up. And so, also, we have killed the guards.
Move here.
We have killed our way to, like, this incredibly important sacred temple place. Okay, this guy already used up all of his. This incredibly important sacred temple place.
Move there.
And no one appears to have noticed. They're not attacking us. There are no... Like, there's not trying to stop us. We're just busy. Like, okay, yeah, let's just quick set up this huge bunch of satchel charges just outside your, like, temple. Nothing to worry about. No problem. We're not in any way going to try to use this to kill all of you or anything like that. Just pay it no mind. This is perfectly fine and normal. Okay. And that's as wide as it should be. And we have enough satchel charges to make it a little bit longer, so I'm actually going to. Because we want the trap to be as long as we can make it. That's not what I meant. I want you to pick up that. Because basically, the enemy will form one long line because they won't really stay in formation the way Thrall do when they're charging at us. So we can force them to kind of work their way around this curve and then all get blowed up.
What now?
Okay. 8 more satchel charges. These are the soulless we fought before, so they're just set to patrol. Well, in that case, let's just run. Hopefully they'll stop following us soon. Alright. And let's go back to setting up the trap. And you in the center. Yeah. I'm planning on using a lot of explosives for this.
Yes, sir. Make up your mind.
Good enough. Alright? Alright. Now, I just need to get their attention. These guys need to be a little closer.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, it's weirdly disorienting to try and
Yes.
arrange their formation when I'm facing towards them, so...
Make up your mind.
Okay. Where'd you go? Yeah, there you go. Alright. Well, let's keep moving. Yeah, there are quite a few goals here. And this is the thing we need to destroy. It, to me at least, looks like a giant goal head. And it is surrounded by severed dwarf heads of all the dwarves they've killed.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we have drawn the attention of quite a few guys. And this is another sacrificial dwarf, so...
Move here. Move there.
Casualty.
And they're not following us anymore. That's unfortunate.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I suppose I could send enough guys after them one at a time to take them all out. Alright. And this actually seems like a good time to up the game speed a little bit, because they just have a bit of a walk to do. Alright.
Make up your mind. Here. Make up your mind. Yes.
Casualty.
Well, that didn't work either.
What? Okay.
Well, back to increased game speed, and let's keep doing this.
Move here. Move there.
Yeah, this level is somewhat more difficult than the levels around it. It is very cool, though.
Move here. Move there.
If we just had a few warriors, that would actually
Yes, sir.
make this considerably easier.
Make up your mind. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, there are a lot of goals. I'm just hoping this dwarf gets far enough to actually draw their attention towards the rest of the dwarves. Right.
Casualty.
Okay. I guess I can never lure them that far, so screw it. Let's just try this normally. This is not going to end well. There really is no way that this can end well. Okay, the dwarf run animation looks quite fun. Whoa! Speed doesn't really matter.
Casualty.
Oh, that's one guy down.
Make up your mind.
That was unsuccessful. I mean, the dwarves did say that they expected to die, so...
Move there. Yes. Move here. Move there. Okay.
We have two dwarves,
Move here.
and
Move
that's
there.
it
Yes, sir.
against all of that.
Okay. Move here. Move there.
You know, I may be wrong, but it's looking like we might not win. You know, call me a cynic, but this is looking like we might not win this one.
Yes, sir.
Casualty.
And of course, you had to miss with that all-important shot. And that one too! Seriously!
Casualty.
Well, there was that at least. We killed quite a few goals at least, but still, yeah. That's morbid. Well, we killed 60 goals, so I guess that was kind of nice. According to this, we had survivors somehow. I don't know why it thinks that, but anyway, that's the end for this fail. I'll have to go back and try this again and actually do it for real. But for those of you who are watching this at the end of the playlist, or in the separate fail-specific playlist, as usual, I love you all, and I will see you next time.